If there's one advantage the Saudi-backed LIV Golf Series has over all the other major leagues, it's that their pockets run very, very deep. After all, they've been bragging pro golfers with $100 million+ offers left and right, even offering the legendary Tiger Woods $1 billion to defect, which he did refuse. Their latest attempt at acquisition was the Japanese golfing celeb Hideki Matsuyama, with a deal reportedly worth $400 million. Here's what went down, starting off with the offer of a lifetime. As the 2021-22 PGA Tour season began wrapping up, the world number 16 golfer Matsuyama had an impossible decision to make. The breakaway LIV Golf circuit reportedly offered him a sum upwards of $300 million to leave the American PGA Tour, but had he accepted the offer, it would have meant he wouldn't be able to compete in this month's President's Cup or pretty much any major championship later on. So instead of accepting the absolute monster of an offer, Matsuyama decided to turn down LIV and continue building his own legacy within the PGA Tour. The 2021 Masters champ has the perfect opportunity this upcoming season to prove that he didn't just make a $300 million mistake, and it's all going to start this weekend at the Fortinet Championship. Let's take a look at why Matsuyama rejected the offer. During Tuesday's media conference at the President's Cup, Matsuyama admitted that he was approached by the Saudi-backed circuit with a massive offer to play under their circuit. Still, he said that he intends to continue playing on the PGA Tour. Speaking with the help of a translator, Matsuyama explained his reasoning with just 6 words. Simply, "This is where I belong." LIV's interaction with the Masters champion has pretty much confirmed a long-standing rumor, with some reports even suggesting that the Japanese pro had been offered well into the 9 figures to play with LIV. According to a source in the New York Post, Matsuyama had turned down the offer late last month, saying that the 30-year-old was torn between staying in the PGA to build his own legacy or defecting and receiving the large payday. Matsuyama would have likely been among the 6 tour golfers who joined the rival circuit after last month's tour championship. Instead, he's going to be playing the President's Cup, took part in last week's Fortinet Championship, and is also expected to be defending his title next month during the Zozo Championship. A reporter also asked Matsuyama whether he would be interested in participating in a PGA Tour and LIV Golf Team Championship if one was to ever come together. He once again gave a short answer saying that, quote, "I can't decide something like that because there's nothing specific about it." Furthermore, why was the offer given to Matsuyama? The LIV Golf acquisition team has been tossing out $100 million contracts left and right in an effort to steal the best talent away from the PGA Tour. The largest contract that we've seen accepted so far is the $200 million mega deal Phil Mickelson had accepted during the early phases of LIV Golf. On the other hand, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, and the latest defector, world number 2 Cameron Smith, had all earned $100 million for their registrations with the breakaway league. However, Matsuyama was offered even more to join the league. This was the second biggest fee by the breakaway series that was reported to have been rejected, the largest being the $700 to $800 million offer rejected by the 15-time major champion Tiger Woods. According to Daniel Rappaport of Barstool Sports, LIV had offered Matsuyama the contract not just because he was an uber-talented golfer, which, to be fair, he is, but also because of the massive Japanese fan base that he'd end up bringing to LIV Golf. Matsuyama is practically the poster child of the golf-crazed nation of Japan, with a population of over 125 million. If LIV had successfully stolen Matsuyama, it would have stolen the millions of Japanese fans who follow and root for him. That would have been a big achievement for a league that's been trying to conquer the golf world. However, Matsuyama ultimately turned down the offer, along with it seemingly ended supply of cash, and this week will go a long way to prove that he didn't end up making the most expensive mistake of his career. What's more, the pro golfer had his reasons for refusing the offer. He's had the willpower and self-control to say no to $300 million. He clearly values his legacy over a stack of meaningless checks. However, at 30 years old, he's running out of time to build up his resume. Matsuyama has enjoyed a very successful career so far, but he's never managed to win more than 3 times in a single season or finish better than 8th place in the FedEx Cup standings. He also only has one 2021 major championship to his name. Now that the FedEx Cup grand prize has risen up to $18 million, Matsuyama has a great opportunity to add to his $40 million career earnings in the PGA Tour from this season. Picking up a few more wins and maybe even another major victory this season would prove that he made the right choice by turning down LIV Golf, and besides, adding $20 to $30 million to his tour winnings would surely ease the blow of turning down the $300 million offer, even though it's a number 10 times smaller and it is to be earned through a victory rather than signing a piece of paper. Meanwhile, what has Matsuyama been up to lately? The Hideki Matsuyama and Adam Scott veteran duo had fallen to behind by 4 shots after 7 holes against the American team of Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay at the President's Cup. However, there was a rare moment of optimism for the two during the 10th hole after Hideki stuck his tee shot to 6 feet. Of course, you wouldn't have guessed it by looking at Hideki's reaction. You'd think we'd used to see Hideki's overreaction reactions by now. The Japanese star had a habit of looking devastated after landing shots that end up 10 feet from the hole, and his performance at the 10th hole of Quail Hollow was no different. Unfortunately for the international squad, Scott ended up missing the 6-footer for a birdie and lost the chance to trim the American lead to just 2 shots over the international team. Meanwhile, in other golfing news, first up, the international team tied for the President's Cup. The international team managed to battle to a draw this Saturday morning during the latest President's Cup, but looking at the way this week has gone, it almost feels like a win. It was the first time in golf history that the Americans didn't win a session at Quail Hollow. However, it did manage to change the big picture. This US team still had a 10-4 lead going as they headed into the afternoon 4 balls, needed only 5.5 points out of the 16 remaining to snatch the cup for themselves. Scott and Matsuyama got the first point of the week when they expected it least. They were only 2 scores behind after 8 holes until winning the next 5 holes. However, the other 2 matches were easily in the hands of the Americans. Next up, Max Homa secures the President's Cup for the US. Homa never felt more energized after landing a big putt, maybe because he's never had so many people share in the celebration. This is why it was understandable why making the President's Cup at the top of his wish list for the year, and his heroics at Quail Hollow exceeded everybody's expectations. Homa stepped towards the hole in the final match and slammed his first after landing a 12-foot birdie for a 1-point lead, and then it just kept getting better. Taylor Pendrich clutched a 15-foot birdie putt just as the internationals were about to stretch out for third tie. Homa then stepped up and landed yet another 12-foot birdie for the win. Out of the 5 matches covering 87 holes, the home team combined for 67 birdies and 3 eagles, with 3 matches going the distance. The international team could only manage 2 halves. Now they face an even bigger task against a US team that looks like it's well on its way to a 9th straight win in this one-sided affair. And finally, Rasmus Højgaard leads by 6 shots into the 3rd day at Open de France. Højgaard commanded a 6-shot lead at the halfway point of the Kazoo Open de France during Thursday's course record. As the starter for the morning record, he managed to card 7 birdies and a single bogey on the 2nd day of the Le Golf National, heading to the clubhouse with a score of 15 under par. The chasing players tried to close the gap during the afternoon, but no one managed to join the Dane. In double figures under par, France's Paul Barron was the nearest challenger with 9 shots under par. Højgaard was pleased with his performance and promised to make sure not to challenge much over the weekend as he goes in search of a 4th DP World title. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Matsuyama made the right choice in refusing to join LIV? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.